January 21st, 2026, the 366th day of the Sex Offender Administration. Democrat Mikey Sherrill was sworn in Tuesday as New Jersey's 57th governor, taking swipes at Donald Trump as she doubled down on her pledge to be an antidote to the Trump administration. RFK Jr. has already linked Governor Sherrill to autism. Police say 2 people are dead after falling through the ice during a fishing trip. State troopers said 33-year-old Brian LaPlante of Newton Falls and 48-year-old Michael Booth of Oswegatchie died. That's 2 more deaths that ICE is responsible for. Dozens of beaches along Australia's east coast, including in Sydney, closed on Tuesday, January 20th, after 4 shark attacks in 2 days. Quote, "We have such poor water quality that's really conducive to some bull shark activity," close quote, a spokesperson said. The bull sharks come for the murky water, but they stay for the buffet. Tri-Union Seafoods has expanded its recall of Genova yellowfin tuna after discovering that a third-party distributor accidentally shipped some quarantined tuna products, which were tied to a February 2025 recall. Tuna can last up to 5 years in the can, making it the Twinkie of the sea. Scientists in Austria are rethinking what cattle are capable of after an Austrian cow named Veronica was found to use tools with impressive skill. Veronica, a cow living in a mountain village in the Austrian countryside, was using tools to scratch her back. What's more impressive is she ordered them on Temu. This has been a Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with headlines and punchlines for January 21st, 2026, the 366th day of the Sex Offender Administration. Join me live at the Church of Last Resort Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on MindDog TV.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend. My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
Good morning, America. Welcome to Coffee with the Dog. Today is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, the 366th day of the Sex Offender Administration. And this is just a reminder, go to minddogtv.com/merch for all the stuff that you don't need, but ought to have. Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering. All right. Now, for those of you who are wondering where Matt is, he has a thing that he's being paid to do, so screw us. He would have missed the second block of the show anyway. So instead of being a block tease, he just took the day off, and we appreciate it. We appreciate you, Matt. Thank you. Without you, we wouldn't have this platform from which we're doing absolutely nothing to help people. Now, before Matt took the day off, he was kind enough to drop us in our conversation, in our text thread, some Good Pods news. He just sent it to us, and I'm going to share some of it with you. Let's see here. I just for at the top of the Good Pods page, this is what it says, because I want to know how do they determine how do they determine these rankings. And it says from the Good Pods page, the best comedy podcasts from millions of podcasts available on the Good Pods platform and ranked by listens, ratings, comments, subscriptions, and shares. So we are ranked number 13th in the top 100 indie comedy podcasts all-time chart. We are ranked number 20, 20th in the top 100 comedy podcasts all-time chart. Okay. And we are ranked number 64th in the top 100 indie comedy interviews, 3 different categories. There you go. So thank you out there, because without you, those other things wouldn't have happened. And thank us, because if we didn't do it, you couldn't be there to support us. So thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Matt. Thank you. Now, in the room, I have, oh, goodness. Okay. I was not expecting this. Today's Wednesday, not a Friday, and we have a Ron Kane sighting. So before I bring Ron Kane in, I'm going to, no, I was going to play a commercial, but what the hell. Ron, if you're ready to be brought in, just give me a thumbs up. All right. Ron Kane, my brother from another mother who should have had 2 abortions.
Morning, GD. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Of course, I didn't expect you today, so I have like all this stuff like set aside to do. Literally stuff to talk about.
Amen.
What's that?
It's an amen thing.
I got you. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I wasn't originally planning on this, but it just kind of worked out, and I'm working from home, so the rest of the week. So why not?
Oh, okay. Cool.
Plus, it's cold as fuck. It is cold as fuck out there this morning too. I'm so happy I didn't have to go outside this morning.
Now it's like 12 degrees. No, well, actually, I don't know what it is. I know it's below freezing, but I don't know what. Okay, that's all I know.
Yeah, currently at my house it is 15 degrees.
Okay, and you're about an hour and a half away from me, maybe 90 minutes at the most, and I got 25 degrees.
Yeah, I'm a little further north.
Oh yeah. Now, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's happening in the news.
Well,
but,
hey,
yeah.
While we're still on weather, are they getting excited in that area about the incoming snowstorm that's supposed to happen on Sunday?
They are. Sunday is when we do our polar plunge to raise money for, was it the March of Dimes in Maryland? In Maryland, we do a polar plunge and we raise money for the March of Dimes. So I'm sure that what could be more polar than a blizzard?
Yeah, the people are excited in my area because, and it's funny because it's still days away, so it's really not even that accurate. And right now, we're either getting 2 inches of snow or we're getting 12 inches.
Okay. Well, I can see that. The warmer it is, the bigger the snow. I mean, because cold causes shrinkage.
Yeah. So get to the grocery store, everybody.
I used to say that growing up in Baltimore, snowstorms prepared me for the way to shop during COVID, because when COVID, there was all these shortages. And people didn't know what they really needed to have, so they were just panicking and getting all kinds of shit. But because we were experienced, my wife and I knew what to get. We didn't panic. We're just like, okay, we know what's coming. We got toilet paper. We got stuff. So there was no panicking. We had batteries. We had flashlights. We had all that shit. It was all the young people who had never been through that kind of stuff that were panicking. They were just like, so we got to have sardines. We got to get our anchovies.
Yeah, the way it's looking though is that it might be a really big snowstorm because we've been getting teased here with these smaller ones, and it was a wet summer. So, and it's been like 7 or 8 years since we've really had a true blizzard. So I think like in our area, we're definitely due for one, and like a bad one too.
So Mickey at the governors wants to know how cold is fuck. She said it was cold as fuck. I guess he wants to know if that's Fahrenheit or actually that's what the F when it says 15 degrees F. That F is fuck.
Yeah. Yesterday when I left for work, it was 9 degrees. And that was like at like almost 8 o'clock in the morning. Then I was reading this morning on Facebook. Steven had posted that his brakes had frozen on him this morning.
On his wheelchair?
On his fucking car.
Oh, well. See, at least he had a backup ride. If it had been his wheelchair, he'd have been fucked.
I remember we were in Wisconsin one year around Christmas time, and it was so cold. It was just so brutally cold. They had snow, and I think that's when her grandmother had passed, and so her grandmother had died in December, but they couldn't bury her until like June.
Yeah, we had the same thing with my mom. My mom died on January 1st, and the ground was too frozen for us to actually put her in the ground. So they had like this holding area for all the corpses that died, and the ground was too frozen. And then they scheduled it all, for all once the ground got thawed enough to bury them, we put them in the ground.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the Midwest, like late spring would be funeral season because the ground.
or they have the holes pre-dug.
Yeah.
And like we're expecting 10,000 deaths this season, so we have the holes ready, and all we gotta do is drop the coffins in, cover them up, and go on to the next hole.
Man, that would be ominous. A cemetery just digging holes
in advance. The only thing more ominous than that would be if you lived in one of those areas and they said, due to the presence of ice, we're going to be digging more holes. Yeah. Now, let's see. Trump is at Davos, in Davos, Sweden.
Yeah, I saw that on my news feed this morning.
Yeah, I know. It's like Trump showing up at Davos is like you remember the movie Carrie?
Yeah.
Trump going to Davos is just like if that girl who dumped the blood on Carrie went to school the next day after the prom.
Yeah.
if of course if the school was still there and she was still alive. But that's what Trump is like. Trump is like the one that's just dumping the pig's blood on everybody, starting all this shit, and waiting for shit to burn.
Yeah. Who'd ever think that we'd have to fight Europe?
Again. Well, the second. Who'd have thought that Germany would be the good guys in another world war, right?
Yeah, because I'm just like looking at this brief news story about him in Davos, and it's the same thing. It's like Trump calls for immediate negotiations to acquire Greenland. Like,
yeah,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, well, at least now, some of the European presidents are getting a little more backbone, a little more wise. They've learned that you can't just bribe him anymore. You can't just flatter him anymore. Because when you flatter a bully and give him a little bit, he says, "Oh, I want more. I want more. I want more." They're gonna have to slap him in the mouth. They're gonna have to bitch slap him.
Yeah.
But it's just they just don't know how. And like the Canadians would be like, "Excuse me, would you mind not invading our friends?"
Yeah. Yeah, there's a headline. It says Trump says he wants Europe to be great. Well, this country isn't so great. I mean, he can't even take accountability for his good friend Jeffrey. So, what are we doing?
Good morning, Anna, California.
But you know,
Bakersfield.
yeah, that it just like everything that I'm reading is that it just looks like it's going to end bad because Europe doesn't want it, the world doesn't want it, and this moron is out there still speaking like, "Oh yeah, this is going to happen."
Well, he, like I said, he doesn't know. He's who was it? One of them said that he has an alcoholic personality. Susie Wiles says he's the personality of an alcoholic.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't know how to take no for an answer. An alcoholic rapist. He doesn't know how to take no for an answer. Like I said, stop. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just
go ahead.
I'm just like if that does happen, I'm still waiting for China to make a move on Taiwan because China is just doing the lie in wait game, and Russia can't really do anything except cause chaos, and
Right.
and I don't know. I see that happening. I don't understand. I guess Putin and China are just waiting.
Well, here's another thing that some people aren't thinking about. I'm saying some people because I'm sure some are. The Europeans have been the ones mainly helping Ukraine since Trump got into office. Trump has pretty much the only thing Trump has done is like shared some intelligence with them, and we don't even know how much of that he didn't share with Putin first. So Ukraine knows, they're going to keep asking for help just in case things change. But they know that they're getting the help from Europe. But now if Europe has to defend Putin and the United States, it's going to be something of a problem. What they're hoping is that they can just throw some troops up in Greenland and to show Trump, look, this don't even try to discourage him before he does it. But Trump doesn't care. He doesn't have a concept. He doesn't care about lives. He doesn't care about troops' lives. He doesn't give a shit. He has a want list. He has, he wants power, and he knows he's mortal. You can't look at those. He can't look in the mirror and not know that he's mortal. Okay, he looks in the mirror and he knows his days are numbered. He just wants that. He just wants his days that once he's gone to have his name on as much shit as possible. So
yeah, I think the only thing really that'll be left for him to put his name on are his shitty hotels. Because I don't know, I feel like after all this, there's going to be a purge of that name and family.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be like what happened with Moses. It's like I want the name of Moses struck from every document, every pyramid, every tomb. No more Moses. No Moses white sale. No Moses no Moses discount. Nothing. Get rid of the name Moses. Same thing's going to happen with Trump. And I really hope that if he finishes that ballroom, they tear it down and restore the White House the way it was, only with better wiring and better Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they probably won't though.
I'm hoping they do.
Yeah,
only because if they don't tear it down, then they need to name it, but not after Trump, but name it after some kind of charity, United Negro College Fund or something. I don't know, something to piss him off.
Yeah, or maybe it won't be the British that burn the White House this time. It'll be the citizens that burn the White House this time.
Selective burning, just that one building, just that one part.
Yeah, we're just in a very odd place, and it's so. Like I said, the funniest thing to me about all this is all these like law and order conservatives, and like because that's what I grew up with, like around these guys are like, oh, law and order, and seeing it now is just you guys can't even defend that.
There was something else Trump finally did something half decent. He signed an executive order to block equity firms from purchasing single-family homes. So that is actually, you know how it's something of a good deal, because the equity firms are complaining to Trump, this is going to hurt us. Actually, they're not saying it's hurting them. They're going to say this is going to make rental properties not so available. And we're not trying to make rental properties available. We want people to actually own homes. And the reason why they can't own homes is because these equity firms are owning all the homes.
That's very true. But this thing, it won't really do anything.
Well, if they can't, the thing is, it's not saying that they can't. I guess they just can't buy any more. So for the most part, the damage is done.
Yeah, it's too late, and it's still a loophole because it's not into law. He just signed that dumb executive order because of him, because he signed all these executive orders, he's essentially made that useless, and no one really pays attention to it because it's like, who gives a fuck? You're writing it down and you're saying this, but you still don't have to really abide by it.
Well,
there's loopholes. There's plenty of loopholes.
He can enforce it on a federal level, I guess, where federal agencies are involved. But most of these equity firms are buying up with cash. They're not like taking out loans, through the federal government like we would. We have a FHA loan. I don't know what you probably own your house by now. You've been there 100 years?
We have I think just a couple more years left.
Yeah,
like
so
5 years or so.
So like people were buying new homes, single family homes. They have FHA, was it?
Fannie Mae.
Fannie Mae, Bernie Mac, all those companies, all those things. So, and most equity firms are just scooping up with cash, underbidding people, and and who wouldn't take the cash? So a lot of the damage is done. But if they can build new housing, it might stop them from doing something, as long as they enforce it. That's just it. They have to enforce it.
That's the thing. It won't be enforced because they can say it, and if you're buying up that many homes and shit like that, you don't care. You already have your plan in place, and there's, like I said, it's probably just a loophole, and because even if they got sued, who's going to stop them? Are you telling us the Fed is going to come in and stop this? They can't even get their shit together.
Well, it would have been more meaningful if Trump had instructed his puppets in the House and the Senate to write a law to,
actually do it like you're supposed to. But because they're the largest group of cuckolds around, the balance of power is out of whack. That's the one thing that I want to see happen, no matter what, after this, is restore the fucking balance of power and do a real purge of Congress and the House of Representatives and all those people. Because between the elderly that are still there, Republican and Democrat, and between the low grade ineptitude of this administration, why would any of these people want to be
around? Now, let's see here. I said Elon Musk
hey, there was a story that broke too. The Doge people were leaking Social Security numbers.
Yes.
Yeah, no shit.
We've known that. Yeah, it's it says the Trump administration has acknowledged for the first time in a court filing that members of the U.S. Doge service assessed and shared sensitive Social Security data without the awareness of agency officials. And see, this is why we need to get Trump's lackeys under oath and not under the influence of Trump. It's fucked.
Yeah. Well, it says Trump says he won't use force to acquire Greenland. That's from his address currently.
Oh, right. And his address is what? 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? this guy in his speech he gave, he said that owning stuff. Well, no, what's this? No, it's an interview. It was an interview he gave after the speech, I think, or he said that it was important for us to own stuff, and so he was asked, "You mean for the country to own stuff?" He goes, "Well, for me to own stuff." And this is a guy who doesn't really own anything. Most of his stuff, he has his name on stuff. But like even Mar-a-Lago isn't his home. That's not his house.
Yeah.
He can't do he can't do anything he wants with Mar-a-Lago because of the restrictions placed on it as it's like a historical thing. So he's limited to the renovations he can make to it. He's limited to what he can do with it.
Yeah.
But he's talking about ownership. The admission comes months after a whistleblower raised concerns that members of Doge, the government cost-cutting operation founded by Elon Musk, had obtained one of the government's most protected databases, risking the security of hundreds of millions of Americans' private Social Security information. The agency had previously denied the whistleblower's allegations. See, that's why, and again, we need more whistleblowers and less Trump blowers.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, we knew this was going to happen because there's been no accountability. They never said, because we don't even know what happened to all that Social Security data and the financial data that they stole. I mean,
right.
Whatever.
Well, I know that some of it was being used to track down, quote, I'm gonna say, I don't want to say illegal aliens because I don't want to say undocumented workers because most of them don't have Social Security numbers, right? Or do they? Do they have many just not entitled to benefits?
Fake ones, maybe.
But they're not entitled to benefits. So even if you get rid of them, they're not saving. It's not saving any money from Social Security.
Yeah.
But
and if you're here illegally, you want to stay low as possible,
right?
So, I mean, it's just common sense.
No, that's why the crime rate on undocumented workers is much lower than the crime rate among per capita of citizens.
Yeah, I know. It's strange to me that you can tell that they're racist because they're afraid to talk about whites committing crimes, which there's more white people, so that would tell you statistically more white people are going to commit crimes.
Yeah, but they're different kinds of crimes. They're a good kind.
Yeah, more of like mass shootings and beating up your wife and killing your wife type of stuff.
Well, you got to sell those. You got to sell those wife beaters.
Yeah. Hey, here's an article that I found. It seems fairly interesting to talk about, and it's not political. It's so Gen Z men are currently turning to Chat GPT as a sex therapist.
Now, Gen Z is what age? How old are they? Because I don't keep track of
they would be like Gen Z at this point, I believe, is what, like 20s? Like
okay.
Mid to late 20s, something like that. Yeah, I'd have to do the actual whatever. But yeah, because was it Boomer, X, then like Millennial, then Gen Z. Yeah, so the Gen Z would be like in their 20s and 30s, I think, at this point.
Okay.
So apparently, more Gen Z men are turning to Chat GPT for sex advice, and yeah.
So does it give advice like get off of your computer and go meet real women?
Yeah. So according to this, the breakdown is 15% of the survey's respondents said they have used AI for specific sexual advice, and a further 10% said they would consider doing so instead of chatting to their mates or partners. Which, I mean, you should probably talk to your partner. I mean, the real good at sex advice, talk to your partner.
Yeah.
Over half, 52%, are asking for advice, which is more than the number of people asking friends at 32%, and more than double the amount of people asking their partners which is only 22%.
Yeah, how many of them actually have partners? Is that a no?
But that's the real problem. It's like, I mean, it's fine that you're going to ask Chat GPT for advice, but the real issue is you have to talk to the other person that you're fucking if you really want to find out if you're doing it right and well.
So there's another thing. Now this is to me this is just mind-boggling. I was reading that the national debt is growing by $72,000 per second.
No one
per
cares.
second. I'm just saying that's good.
Yeah, I don't even. No one cares about the debt. No one cares. At this point, it's so pointless. It's going up. We know it. No one's going to do anything about it. Let's move on with our lives.
I'm gonna go back to this. I'm sorry. I was gonna go back to the Social Security thing again because in the article it says the Justice Department submitted a court filing Friday in an ongoing case saying the Social Security Administration had discovered a secret agreement between a DOJ employee and an unidentified political advocacy group. The agreement called for sharing Social Security data with the aim of overturning election results in certain states, according to the filing.
Yeah, maybe they should ask Chat GPT how to reduce the debt. Yeah, I don't think no one cares. No one really does.
I'm just saying one of the things that Matt. Well, I don't want to say Matt without him being here. So, but there are people who says there's not going to be another election. But if they're having plans to overturn the election, that means they're planning for there to be an election. Otherwise, you can't overturn it. Why have they plan to overturn it?
Yeah. Let's go back to the sex bots. That's just no one cares about the fucking dead. Who cares?
Well, I care because I read the whole fucking article.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll all be dead. What do you have to worry about?
I don't like to. I took a lot of time to read that article. No. No.
Yeah, in this article, it said a third of Gen Z men admitting they've turned to AI for help in the bedroom.
Like instructions?
Yeah, everything. And I just wonder, do they pull this out while they're in the middle of the act? Hold on, let me see what ChatGPT says.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on, yeah.
Then, there's more people turning to AI for help with sex, and they say it's only going to grow. And of course, for some, AI doesn't just stop at giving advice on real life relationship or sex drama. May have turned to online platforms for companionship, which is reflected in many forums on Reddit dedicated to those with digital partners, such as My Boyfriend is AI and Kind Droid. Do you think you would ever buy an AI like enhanced sex toy?
Not for personal use. I had to say it because I have quite a few that I use as props with the Reverend's Blessings and Blasphemy show. So I don't have any for my own use.
But what if you're say it was Christmas time and your wife's like, "Hey, GD, I want you to have this so you can have some fun occasionally when I don't want to."
Well,
would you be down for that?
Nah, not really. No.
Because you never know. It doesn't have to be a doll per se, but it could be like the evolution.
A vacuum?
Yeah.
A vacuum with a beater bar?
The evolution of the fleshlight, where AI would read your like fucking temperature and things like that, or maybe find the spots on your dick that work for you.
No, if she's not in the mood, I have so much stuff to do. I have so many hobbies, so many things that I could do to keep myself preoccupied. and I'm not focusing on it. No, I nope. Besides that, we don't exchange gifts at Christmas. It had to be when do we exchange gifts? We don't actually exchange gifts. We just buy stuff for each other when we can.
Like the one thing I think, like a lot of the older movies, and when they talk about like the future, there was all, especially when it came to sex, like even like dating back to the fucking 70s to like Barbarella, when they're like, oh, we're gonna have sex, and she's like, all right, let's put our devices on and take this pill, and then we'll mind meld, as they call it.
Yeah.
And the guy and the Hawkman is like, what the fuck is this? I want to put it in,
And I think Matt was talking about what he calls oral, AURAL.
Okay.
Oral sex that he was having with one of the people from the cult. I think. Well, I'm probably getting my stories mixed up. I'm getting my Matt mythology mixed up between the cult women and the non-cult women. But he talked about that, saying that was some of the most intense experiences he's had.
Well, according to this too, a study from Vantage Point Counseling Services last year found almost a third of Americans said they've had an intimate or romantic relationship with an AI chatbot. Of those who said they were involved with a chatbot, over half, 53%, were already in a relationship in the real world. And they're calling that a digital threesome.
No, I call that a cry for help.
I have a friend who told me their one kid is like talking to like an AI chat bot, and they have like this back and forth. It's strange.
There was a case not too long ago where there was a teenager using Chat GPT for counseling, and the kid was considering suicide, told Chat GPT about it, and they said, don't tell your parents, you only worry them.
Yeah.
And so the kid offed himself.
Yeah.
So that's all I need to know about the Chat GPT. It's like it's not very helpful. It's less helpful than a regular person.
Well, at least in Google, like the AI Gemini will tell you, is like, always check your sources, because it says the information here is here, but we can't always say it's accurate.
Right.
So at least they have a disclaimer. But I think this will become more prevalent once. I could see like people kind of just messing around with it, just like, oh, hey, I want to try this because I'm reading about it and things like that. I think it'll really get real once you get to the interface with like an AI, and like a human face appears on the screen.
Right.
And talks to you, like a digital face. I think when that happens, then I think we'll see the AI shit really skyrocket with like chat bots and things like that. Because right now it's just type your question and it's all text. I mean, what don't you think a person would be more inclined to do more stuff with it if they had like a, even if it was like an avatar of, anyone? Wouldn't you rather talk to the avatar instead of a text screen?
Well, I think some people probably would. But part of the the attraction is the anonymity, the not knowing, not seeing, not looking at someone in the face when you want to confess these things. I think it's easier for some people to do it without having to look at something or someone in the eyes when they talk about those things.
Yeah,
some people.
That's a very fair point. But also, I think if you have like an avatar element, I think those people that will eventually drop away, because they'll feel maybe a little more comfortable. But you're right. There are people that are just like, I just want text.
Yeah, I don't want somebody to look me in the eye when I talk about the fact that I feel like doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about killing myself, and it's this avatar of just this guy stroking himself to you.
And ChatGPT, I'm serious. Stop it. I'm trying to help you here. Stop it. I'm serious.
Yeah, and like hey, but you never know. In 5 years, we can have AI robots in our house.
I have to put this up because we're talking about suicidal ideation. So I just put this up there so that YouTube won't demonetize us. So there.
Okay.
Now we can keep talking about unliving ourselves. Well, not ourselves, but people. There we go.
Yeah, it sucks, but so if you want to have a digital threesome, I guess more people are doing it. So.
Look, I've only had one legitimate threesome, and I was so bad at it that I'd hate to think of how bad I would be if I had to hold a phone in my hand trying to do it as well. I had two hands free, and I was fucking up. And if I only had one hand free, I can't even imagine how bad it would have been. I felt like apologizing to those two women because they were so hopeful. They were like, there was this two young white women. They were like, we got this young black stud. Let's do this. And this young black stud had no idea what to do with two women at one time. It was my first time, and I was like, I'm flailing. I'm like, damn, I wish I'd watched more three-way porn. I have no idea what to do. I wish I'd watched any three-way porn. I have no idea what to do. Well, actually, the porn that I had seen that was threesomes, it was like almost always, it was like two guys and a woman. And I was like one guy and two women. And I'm like, see, maybe there's another penis in here I might have. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I was lost. I was lost.
A threesome with two women is all about balance. It's about balance, and you gotta, between those three people, you almost got this, who is going to be the leader of this.
Well, now that was true. I kept my whole focus was to make sure that they both stayed wet. That was my main focus, to make sure they both stayed wet and they could both orgasm. And I was like, okay, that was my focus.
Were they into each other, or was it they just wanted to do that?
They just wanted to do that. They went into each other. As a matter of fact, they were related.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, that's the other thing. Like when it comes to especially like two girls and a guy, you got to really establish, like, are the girls into each other more than me, and kind of figure out that dynamic too. There's a lot at play, but done right, it can be a successful event for everyone.
Well, it was awful for me. And matter of fact, it was. I don't want to say I was traumatized by it, but let's just say, there's some moments in your life that you fucked up, and you kind of like you wish you could do it over. I know so much better now. I could do it right. That's one of those moments. That's one of those moments where like if I could go back to being 20s, my mid 20s, and get those two women together again, I'll say, look, I'm much smarter now. Well, because I would no point me trying it now that I'm 66. First of all, aside from the fact that I'm married, I wouldn't even make it to the threesome. My wife would have me dead before I got to the car.
Well, what were they pleased with what happened?
Let's put it this way: we stayed friends, but we never tried it again.
Okay.
So.
It could maybe it was just awkward though too for him.
Yeah.
Like after the fact, because it sounds great when the talk about it, but then if you're like in the middle of it, then you realize, oh, this maybe wasn't a good idea. But I didn't want them to, but I was, like I said, I kept thinking I can fix this. Like I said, it wasn't horrible. Like I said, we stayed friends, and if it was really bad,
And I did get to see both of them separately after that. So if I was really bad, I wouldn't have seen them both separately.
Yeah.
I guess it was just like we tried it. I don't know. We never brought it up again. We never even toyed it up. And in my
Well,
mind,
yeah,
it was awful.
yeah. I think if they seen you separately after the fact, I think it, they don't hate you. They didn't hate you or anything. I think they probably just realized like this did not work like the
Yeah.
way that we thought it would be. And I
And
think
I was
that's all right. I mean, if everyone at least had a good time, you might not be able to live up to expectations, but
yeah, I was 26, 27 at the time.
okay.
And they were mid 30s, maybe mid 30s up to 40. So they had like 10 years on me at least. So they were more experienced, I guess. I don't know that they were more experienced, but like I said, they were related to each other. It was just something we tried, and
Yeah.
it didn't work out. Now, Heavy Kev in New Zealand says, what sort of person would off themselves because they talk to AI? Very Darwinian. Well, the person that offed himself was a teenager, so they weren't evolved.
Yeah, and for him, he like teenagers, they don't have a problem with AI and like interacting with it. And like for someone that's older, they probably just don't get it. They'd be like, well, why would someone do that? I
Yeah,
don't know. It's what teens do, and they interact with it. And it's like anything. You just gotta, because it's a teen, you should probably keep an eye on them and see what they're fucking doing. Because
yeah,
teens, we were all teenagers, and I think we could all admit we were all idiot teen. As teenagers, you do dumb things, and some things you question. Wow, I'm still alive.
yeah. And what? And to answer the other Kevin, in New Zealand, the teenager told Chatbot he was thinking about killing himself, and Chatbot told the teenager not to tell your parents because you'll worry them. So that's so the kid was reaching out for help. The kid knew he needed help.
Yeah,
He just went to the wrong source for help, and he believed it. He believed them. It's like, okay, I won't tell my parents. And if ChatGPT had not said to him, "Don't tell your parents, you only worry them," maybe he'd have talked to his parents, or maybe he could have gotten real help.
yeah. To me, I think Chat GP is just the electronic version of the guy in your neighborhood that's got probably a couple auto parts on his front porch, and maybe he's still working on one car, that you would always go to him for advice.
Now, I think now ChatGPT might be helpful if let's say you have a neighbor, and that neighbor says, "I'm going to go across the street and burn my neighbor's house down while he's sleeping," and then ChatGPT would go like, "Hold please," and call 911 and send that text to the police. Just like, and notify the family. Don't go to sleep tonight. Incoming firebomb.
Or
Something
hell,
like that.
it might even recommend gas stations that have the cheaper
yes.
gas.
We recommend a PVC gas can from Lowe's. No, from
But
your local
also,
hardware store for
like
$3.99.
at this point, they don't want responsibility, because they want to see what people will do with it, and see how it plays out, then learn that way. I mean, that's part of the reason why AI doesn't have any regulation tied to it for fucking 10 years, which it
Right.
should, because it's a incredibly powerful tool. But yeah, no one cares. I think it's just you're trying to learn. This is like the test environment. You got to see what people are going to do, what kind of things are going to be put into it. Then eventually it will move to points where, like, if you put something in, it'll probably flag you or some shit like that.
To answer your question, Sunshine, I do not have a generator. Matt, Ron, do you have generators where you are? Do you have a generator in case you lose power?
I do not.
But I don't lose power here very often. My wife and I think we've had one outage here Oh God, I don't know if you remember the storm or not, Ron. We lost power in Westminster for about a week in the town. The storm came by and hitting it, and here's the to me the funniest part. When Westminster like put up, became like this little big city, they had all these new telephone poles that they replaced the old poles with along the main strip. 140 is the main stretch where all the commercial buildings are and all the stuff, all this new build is. So they had all these brand new thick telephone poles lining the highway. And those are all the poles that broke. They all snapped. The little skinny old poles that have been there since like the early 1900s, none of them broke. But there's like maybe 80 or 90 telephone poles just snapped, just broke and fell over from the winds.
Was that the same storm that flooded out Ellicott City too?
Oh no, this is a different one. This was just a few years ago.
Okay.
The one that flooded Ellicott City was what, like 8 years ago?
Yeah, it's within the past like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, because I don't know if they used to have and the reason why I'm kind of remember when it was because they used to have an open mic at the Cacao Lane.
Yeah.
And that when that happened, it was like, yeah, we lost an open mic, man. The whole town flooded, and we lost an open mic.
Yeah, I remember the video from that, and it was like a main street. It had like a raging river going down. That's fucking insane.
And in Ellicott City, like I said, it was a neat little town. It's called historic Ellicott City because it was like really old. Had a lot of little shops in there. It was just a nice little place. It was not nice. Parking was awful, but other than that, it was. I mean, they had like 2 parking lots, and you could walk within a mile or 2 of wherever you're going. But other than that, if you couldn't find street parking in front of where you're trying to get to, you're walking about a mile, half a mile to a mile.
Now, they've somewhat recovered, haven't they?
I think so, but I haven't been back there for a long time.
Yeah. I think it's been a few years since I've been there. I think the last time was when I went to that mic.
Yeah, I haven't been there since the flood. I do not know how we're covered. I gave money. I donated money to some of the causes. Part of the reason why I didn't go back because I used to go down there a lot.
Yeah.
And with the crew that ran shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to say their names, but when they started doing all these benefits for Ellicott City, and I couldn't get on any of the shows, I was like, no, fuck you guys. You're just trying to get they're calling them benefits, but basically it's showcases for their friends.
Yeah.
And
it's comedy.
Yeah. It's just that I wish I'd known if I had known that they were not. This is what bothers me. The one thing I cannot get back is time. Okay, I can't get back time. So the general rule in comedy is like you find yourself a group that you can be part of, for networking purposes or whatever. But you find like if you can affiliate with a comedy club, that can be like your base club where you're going to get work or networking or something like that. And I spent a lot of time there. I spent 2 or 3 years, and that's a lot of time considering I've only been doing comedy 11 years. So I've spent a quarter of my comedy career with these people, and they're like, well, fuck you. And if I had known that they were going to have that attitude in the very beginning, I wouldn't have wasted my time.
Yeah.
That's time that I could have been just working on, either a different group of connections or making my career so that it's not dependent upon those correct connections.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm trying to get now. I'm trying to get to the point now where I don't need the connections. I mean, it'd be nice to have them, and I'd love to have the connections. It'd be a lot easier, but fuck them. You got to,
Yeah, and that's really that's what you have to do. And you got to move on from it. Cause like the gatekeeping shit that I had to deal with, and still deal with a little bit, but not really, because I've moved a lot of those people and that place to my dead to me list. So, but a few years ago too, like people there, it's actually they thought it was an insult, but it was a compliment. They were telling people, it's like, oh, that guy is not a local comic because he's performing. We don't consider him a local comic because he's out performing everywhere or anywhere. It's like, well, that's a good thing. Well, so thank you for that compliment. Yeah, why do you just want to stay in your own same shitty club because you know the room and you can play to the room? That's it.
Right. You can make a joke that those 6 people will get. So
yeah, and there are just some rooms around here where it is really bad. It's like it's devolved so bad. It's like they almost want to be Austin but can't make the commitment. I guess I don't know.
Now, you walked over a little late after the open mic on Monday, after the open mic showcase on Monday. You came over to talk to our drunk friend.
Okay.
Did you hear what he was saying to me about Kill Tony?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so you got there afterwards. He was saying to me, him and his friend Tim were saying, you'd be great on Kill Tony. If you decide that you want to get on Kill Tony, I'll give you like $200 or $300, so to contribute to your airfare. And I had to explain to him. I said, that's not how Kill Tony works. You don't decide to be on it.
Yeah, hopefully you're lucky.
Yeah, he says I'm a huge. He's like, I really like Kill Tony. I'm a huge fan. It's like, and you don't know how it works. And it's like, no, you don't decide to get on Kill Tony. They just you put your your name in a bucket, and if they draw you, they draw you.
Yeah. So you might have a 1 and 2 to 300 shot.
Yeah. Now, although I know someone who got picked twice for the same night.
Oh yeah, that's incredibly lucky.
And they had 2. They went up under 2 different names. And it wasn't like a deceptive thing. It's just that they had 2 different routines. I guess it would be like if I went up, as GD Fenderson, but if I had, let's say, an act that was, let's say, a ventriloquist act, and I GD and a dummy or something, and I said, well, if they, I put in those 2 names. I mean, that's probably not exactly a good example because they weren't trying to scam them. They just thought that's what you do, and that's what they did, and that their name got picked twice in the same night.
Wow.
And when they went up the second time, they said, didn't we see you earlier? She goes, yeah, but I was, that was for that. And they go, you can't do this a second time. And so instead of just kicking her off, they just decided to insult her for like a few minutes. And it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I get why people still watch Kill Tony, but like for me, I just feel like it has run its course, and to me it just appears like American Idol at this point.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because American Idol is still popular, I think. But
it's still on. I don't know like how popular it is, but I mean, really, the only reason I think it's still on is because it's a cheap show to produce.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah.
It's very cheap. You're paying for your frontline talent, your judges. Then the rest is just production costs, really.
Yeah. And they can get and all the people that come on as guests, they're pretty much, I guess, free, with the exception of putting them up in hotels, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they put them up overnight and feed them and things like that. But
what about the auditions and stuff? I mean, that seems, I don't know.
I think the audition, you're just there on your own dime.
Okay, but don't they have like auditions in different? I know, like when we auditioned for Family Feud.
Yeah,
we auditioned in Baltimore.
Okay.
They had this national touring thing when they were looking for families for Family Feud.
Yeah.
And so we went to an audition in Baltimore. That's got to cost something. But I mean, they rented out a hotel, well, like the Grand Ballroom, I think it was called, and there was like 300 people. It was big enough to hold 300 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's just the cost of doing business, and that's still nothing to them, really. So
that's
if you had gotten on that show, do they pay you at all?
I don't know. Our audition, it's when you watch what they're trying to do, how they want families that are going to be like kind of over the top, but it's a sweet zone. They don't want you to be so over the top that they can't get you on the air, but they want you to be over the top enough that you can't be, like boring or something.
Yeah, maybe they pay you like scale. Maybe,
but it's a prize. But it's prize money too. I mean, you're trying to win prizes. So
you are, but then if you don't, one side does have to lose. So maybe they either get like $1,000, $1,500, and maybe prizes. I bet for participation, because you are on TV. But I mean, it is possible that you just have to sign a waiver, and they're like, "You're going to be on," and people get so excited. They get so excited, like, "Oh, I'm going to be on TV!" And right there,
I know. I didn't ask. I didn't ask any of that stuff. When my cousin reached out to me and said, we're doing this. We want you to do this. I said, sure. Now my cousin was so like fired up before the audition. And once we're being auditioned, he became like, where is this excited guy that was down there? He kept saying, we're going to be pumped up. We're going and I hate that. I see, and that's my biggest problem. I don't mind performing, but I have to give an honest performance. I'm not the kind of guy that's just going to sit there and go like, rah, rah, rah. No, I don't like walking up on stage and saying, now another round of applause for all the comedians that came up before you. I don't like saying that. I do that. I only do that at open mics, and that's only because it's an open mic. I don't do it at a show.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pee quick and go get some tea, and I have something that would be great for me and you to talk about, and it's about comedy. So give me 1 minute.
Okay. Well, while Ron is gone, I'm going to promote something real quick. I'm going to play a video real quick. I do a show on the side, or action out on the side from this chair. It's called Done Way Past Funny, where I interview people that are comedian and comedian adjacent. And my next episode that's coming up this Friday is with Steph Stigma, and this is the preview from that show. Done Way Past Funny. Steph Stigma. Now, do you practice crowd work? I know you do it. I've watched it. You do crowd work, but is that something that you work on, or is it just natural because you're engaging?
Honestly, I think that video was like, up to that point, probably the most crowd work I'd done in like a single set, because it's I don't like crowd work. Like, right. I wouldn't instigate it because it simulates my least favorite type of communication, which is small talk. Like,
right.
Oh, what do you do for a living? Never mind, I'm already bored, you know?
So anything from that first time you took the stage that you would refurbish and go, wait, you know something? I look at it now that I look back at this with hindsight, I actually can refurbish that and make that really, really good.
Yes, I would have had boobs instead.
that one's coming out this Friday. Step Stigma. It's available on YouTube, Spark TV, and Knob TV on your Roku device. So there you go.
Okay. So what I wanted to bring up with you, have you ever seen the podcast Good Talk?
Mm-mm.
Well, it's a podcast that's done by Vulture, and it's called Good Talk. And this guy brings on comics, and they just have like really just down to earth conversations about comedy and like the comedy business. And do you know of the comedian Chris Gethard?
Chris Gephardt. I'm gonna look up the image. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. If you look him up, you would probably recognize him. Here, I have him pulled up. I'll show you quick so the audience can see him too. Right here. There you go. You see that?
Okay, I see him. I don't know who he is. Oh no, nope. That's a senator. There's a senator named Gephardt. I don't know that senator either. Okay, let me get you. No,
Yeah. So anyway, he has been like a working comedian for a long time, and he was on this podcast talking about the death of the middle class comedian, and it is a fascinating conversation because he brings up so many things that are happening in the industry of comedy, and like he's got television credits, he's wrote on TV shows, like he's had a pretty good career. Like, oh yeah, he might not be like recognizable as soon as you see him, but the guy has been working and he's got credits. And the whole conversation goes into this whole thing how, like, okay, yeah, there's Netflix now, but now Netflix has turned into like the record companies used to do in the past. Okay, you might get a Netflix special as a comic, but Netflix, like, say they pay you $30,000 for this half hour, they charge you for the production, for part of the production.
Wow.
And then you got to take out your other fees for your manager and whoever else. So by the end of it, you may have barely nothing, and you're basically back to square one. But like he's saying, because it's really only Netflix and all, then kind of like goes down from there. The comics now will do a Netflix special really just for the name, so they can have it. They get hardly no money off of it, or even residuals. Now, maybe if you're like a Kevin Hart, you probably get a nice sweet deal because you're Kevin Hart, or like, you know, Bill, or like one of the big heavy hitters. But then he goes on into like how comics used to be able to travel around more and make money and things like that. But because of how the industry has shifted, even that is starting to go away. Like they're really road dog comics and shit like that. So if you're interested in like the middle class comedian and how hard it is to get anything, and are you really getting ahead for the amount of work that you're doing? And like he goes on to say, he knows, like he is a working comic, and he has a day job. He has a day job. He had to get a day job because he's like, because I wasn't working on big projects, I wasn't making all this money. I needed health insurance because I had kids. So
I think that's why a lot of them go. That's why I think a lot of them try to join SAG.
Yeah,
a lot of that's at least in my opinion, in my thinking, a lot of comedians that go to become actors do it so they can get their SAG card, so they can get insurance.
Yeah, but they even delve into that a little bit, but that's even kind of going away because it's so hard to get the acting work, and and because the industry is changing, because they're doing more productions outside of Los Angeles, but then also the productions have shrank because there's not as many productions, even though we have all this fucking streaming and shit like that everywhere.
Right.
But, yeah, I just thought it was a fascinating conversation because he just brings up so many good things, like people making reels and things like that. It's like, all right, you can make reels, but how much time and energy do you need to put into that just to make good quality reels? Then if you do that, something else has to suffer as well. And just because you do all these reels and get these followers, that does not translate the dollars for you.
Right.
So, yeah, I would definitely check it out because it's definitely for guys like us that are just kind of like chipping away, and even comics that are kind of out on the road and just kind of like, going day to day because it's essentially what they're doing. And if you get sick or something happens to you, how fucked you could be.
Yeah. Now, you and I've been doing this about the same. I've been doing this for like 11 years. You've been doing this for like what, 10?
8
years. So, I mean, we've run into a lot. I've easily worked with 4,000 comics between showcases and shows. I've worked with, because some showcases have like, I did one showcase that had like 7 comics on it. So some showcases have a lot. So it's not like I've done 4,000 shows. I've probably done, in the 11 years, I may have done 1,000 shows, maybe. Most of them are recorded, and I wasn't like a headliner and a feature on most of them. So it's like 5 minutes here, 7 minutes there. But there are a lot of comedians that I thought were funny that I'm surprised didn't go any further. That just, literally just, I'm going, you're really good. Now, true, that may have only been good for those 5 minutes, because that's the other thing. They could have like a really good 5 minutes and they never got beyond the 6 minute.
Yeah.
And that could have been what happened to them. But I was thinking like there's a few comedians that I just watched as they got to like their 15th minute, and then they just disappeared. They either stopped doing comedy or I just have not seen or heard hide nor hair them since. A few like that?
Yeah, because it does seem to happen in comedy a lot where someone will come out and maybe they have a decent 5 and they do okay, then people throw them on their shows and stuff, but then they like quickly sputter out because they don't have much. Or I think a lot of people get caught up in this whole grandiose, like, oh, it's so great to be a comic, like, because you're just laughing and having a good time, but no one really takes the effort to really peel it back and understand what it takes to actually work in comedy. Yeah, some of it is luck, and a lot of it is hard work that you put in that it may not even yield you anything, and it's very challenging, and I think people get lost in that. But I like I was saying, I think a lot of people don't have any idea, because we've talked to like comics on this show that are like, I've been doing comedy 6 months or like a year, and I just quit my job because
my favorite ones that I can't say. Yeah, my favorite ones to go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's laughable because you're like, you've been doing this 6 months to a year, and you're saying you're going to quit your job, and you're booking all of these shows. It's sad. It makes me laugh, but then I think it also shows that how delusional people are. But because people will get followers like, oh my god, I'm a comic now. No.
Now I was talking to a friend of mine about, well, I haven't gotten a gig yet. Well, let's put it this way. I have if things get worked out, I have the gig. It's in LA. We're working things out. But we were talking about some of the comedians that she likes, and she was like, well, there's one or two comedians that she actually did like. Turns out they're not comedians; they're just content creators, and all they have is what they can do there, that they can't do stand up. And she said, and she didn't realize that there was such a big difference.
Yeah.
She didn't realize there was such a big difference until you see them do stand up. You think, okay, they got 1 million followers, they got this material on screen and it looks funny, but they can't do the comedy. Yeah. And it took her, like I said, a while to figure that out. She says, so they're still my favorite content creators. They're just not my favorite comedians anymore.
I have heard though that that sector is kind of drying up with clubs just bringing in like these Instagram people and things like that, because like they're good for the first show or like one round, but then like the shows aren't really that great, and so people don't want to come back. And it's
right.
There's people that literally don't have very little to no stage experience trying to plan tours. So you have no idea how to do an hour in front of anybody. It's hard enough sometimes to do 5 to 10 minutes. And if you don't even have 60 minutes worth of material, what are you doing?
Now, I'm trying to think. There was, bless America. I can't think of the name. I went blank. I was listening. Damn it. Never mind. It'll come to me next time, because I was listening to you and I didn't want to interrupt, so I was waiting. I said, I'll hold on to that thought. And my age kicked in. It's like, no.
Yeah. But yeah, still to this day, what makes me laugh the most is when you see comics or whatever, or open micers say, I'm going to go quit my job and do this full time. Because most of the time, in like 6 months to a year, they have a job again. They have a day job.
Yeah. Now, I did have, now I'm going to mention him by name only because in a way you kind of represent him. Josh DeWay, when I first met him and we were talking, one of the things I told him, I said, the reason why I like you is because you took the risk that I would never have taken. I mean, I shouldn't say never, because I was willing to sleep in my car to do gigs. I was willing to drive out of town and sleep in my car. It's just that every time I went about to do that, I wound up in a hotel. So I never, but I was willing to do it. I was like, it's like to this day, I don't mind. The closest I came to sleeping in my car to do a weekend gig, it was in West Virginia. I had like back to back 90-minute shows, and I didn't want to go down and come back and go down and come back. And actually, I had 2 shows in one day. And that was the closest I came to sleep in my car. I shouldn't 2 shows. I had 2 radio interviews in the morning, and then I had a show that night. And so I went down. One radio interview was like at 11 in the morning. So I'm in West Virginia at 11, and then the show starts at like 7:30. So I had 2 radio interviews, and so between 2 and 7, I slept in my car. That's it. That's the only time I slept in my car for a comedy gig. Every other time, it was like, okay, I'll go out. I get a gig out of town. They said, where are you going to stay? I said, I'll just stay in my car. And I get there, I got a hotel room. I get every time. So I, except that one time where I slept in my car for like 4 hours, but Josh DeWay would like, I'm going to go out of town and I'm going to spend a week in my car. And I told him, I said, I admire that. It doesn't matter. I said, and this is not, I think, I thought I think he's funny. So, but it wasn't a matter of him being funny at that point. I was just talking about the work ethic, just the sheer work ethic, and I thought, and I kept saying to him, I would never do that. But I would do that. And I would do that today. I would still do that. If I go out of town, you know, if I don't have a place, I'll stay in my car. But I've never had to stay in my car.
Yeah, like you know, speaking of Josh, you know, I'm not gonna put all his business out there because
Go ahead. He's not listening.
Yeah. uh, but he is what you would consider a professional comic. And
is he a road dog? Is he what they call a road dog? I no. Or
yeah, he's been a lot of places, but the biggest thing I want to convey is that like he hasn't really done anything yet. He's got an impressive resume of all the people that he's performed with and performed at. It's very impressive. But the one thing that he's still truly missing is a nice credit on that resume.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So he's got to get that, and you know, he knows that. But I think what people don't realize is like behind, like to get where he is at right now, like all the sacrifice that he has made, and like the things that he's had to do to just, you know, keep moving forward. I mean, nothing illegal, or he's not like pimping himself out or anything like that. But it ain't fucking easy. It is not easy. And like I give him credit, like his being resilient and just the mental toughness alone on what he's going through to get to his dream is insane. And I don't think most people could handle that, the amount of sacrifice and shit like that, because that's just how hard it is. That's just how hard.
Okay. I just remembered what I was trying to, what I forgot when I wanted to bring it up before. I was reading. Okay, now I know you know who this person is because I only found out about them because of you. The guy that they call the Beast. That you know.
Mr. Beast, you mean?
Mr. Beast.
Get it right, GD.
I'm sorry, Mr. Beast.
He's a national treasure. God damn it.
Well, that's just it. It said that apparently people thought he was a billionaire. And he says he's not a billionaire. He doesn't have that much money.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's because he gave it away or if it was just all hype to begin with. I didn't get to read the article. So I thought you might know about it.
I think what he's really is saying is that maybe on paper,
right? Okay,
as a billionaire, but you know he's not. He doesn't have the, you know, he's not that liquid and stuff. Like he's making money, but he also does a lot of big grand things, and I'm sure he has sponsors and things like that. But yeah, I mean that's not really that surprising. I mean he's doing well, but like again, I think for him to say that would hopefully resonate with people. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors to what you're thinking. I mean, you can actually, like the big thing is like with iTunes and getting a comedy album to #1.
Right.
It's not hard. It really isn't. There are ways that you can manipulate it and things like that, and that's why a lot of comics can get #1 albums. Like people that you don't really know. It's not that they're not funny, you know, they could be funny, but like that first week or so, you can manipulate it where your album will be #1. There are ways.
Well, I don't know the ways.
No, I don't either, but I've heard that from a number of comics. Like if you want to get a #1 album on iTunes, it's not as hard as it looks.
Yeah. Well, I'll find out. That was just interesting because I know about liquid assets and some people who are very, very rich on paper, but if you try to but that's because they can't liquidate the assets.
Yeah.
No, because at one point in my life, a long time ago, I was worth like almost $1 million, but that's because those are like life insurance policies, you know, the house I had and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, almost $1 million, and then it's like I lose the job, I don't have that in that policy was through them, you know, all the other stuff was like, okay, so I have $45. It's like the old days when rappers used to think, people see these rappers, they have like all these cars and it's like this nice house and all this jewelry, and it turns out the only thing they actually owned was the jewelry in their mouth. Everything else belonged to the studio.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the record companies.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Maybe that'll eventually be the future for comics, because with Netflix, since Netflix is so big, I'm sure you've seen it, that they're really pushing podcasts now on Netflix.
Yeah.
Because they did that like a few months ago, and now like you pull up Netflix, it's like, you want to watch this podcast? And to me, I'm so sick of podcasts, and which is funny. I'm on a podcast right now, but there's just like so much
digital broadcast, motherfucker.
Yeah, there's just so many, and there's just so many people just talking to other people. It's just talk, talk. When is enough? I'm just bored with this cycle of I don't know, media that we're in. Maybe.
Well, I said, for me, it depends on, like, there's some podcasts out there that are really, really popular, but I have no intention. I mean, because they don't give me any kind of mental stimulation. Okay, I need mental stimulation, and if I don't have that, I check out. And so, and I know people say, wait a second, GD, you're like the second least interesting person I know of to talk to. So it doesn't mean just because I'm uninteresting to talk to doesn't mean I don't want to hear interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's like my friend, he's very smart. He's in Mensa, and like other people that he knows, they'll always. He told me, he's like, the people will ask me, he's like, you should be on our trivia team. You should be on our trivia team. And he's like, no. It's like I'm not that type of smart. It's like
right.
It's like trivia. He's like, I'm no good at it. It's like I might know some things, but I'm no good at it.
Yeah, see, people don't understand because I was a member of Mensa many years ago. You have to pay for that membership. It's not free, guys. They don't just give it to you. You have to pay for it. If you stop paying for it, you're no longer a genius.
Yep.
Okay. So they'll take your card. That's why I can't even be considered a black person anymore. I stopped paying my dues. They took my card. You stop paying the dues, they take your membership card. So, but people don't understand. It's like it's more processor speed. It's not like everything. You have certain areas and certain ways of doing it. It's not a catch-all.
Yeah.
I used to have a buddy of mine. We used to play Trivial Pursuit in teams, and it was me and my friend, and we used to kick everybody's asses because between the two of us, we had all 6 categories covered. But we got to literature. I sucked at literature. I don't like reading other people's books. So and because I care so little about other people's books, I don't even remember what names go with what books. So I may know the name F. Scott Fitzgerald. I wouldn't remember off the top of my head which book it goes to. I mean, right now I think Great Gatsby is one, but I don't know. I know the name Charles Dickens. I don't know all the books. Edgar Allan Poe, fine, but but he knew authors and with movies. He was so into movies. If you mentioned a movie, he could tell you who directed it, who probably the top 10 names involved in it, the actors and stuff, but not just the actors, but the director, the editor, the producer, shit like that. Shit that most people don't even watch the credits and don't see it. Yeah. They watch the credits and still don't see it.
Yeah.
He cared like that. That was his thing. He cared about it. And he wasn't even a fucking genius. He was just into movies. Movies and big boobs. Every actress that had big tits, he could tell you how much they paid for them or if they're natural or whatever. Those are his 2 obsessions, movies and tits.
Good obsessions, I guess. Yeah, like with me, I remember like all sorts of like useless information, like or just information in general, and yeah, and it just holds with me, and like I think I'm very good at figuring people out and noticing if someone's frustrated or like the uncomfortability of certain situations, which I actually kind of enjoy. I like seeing an uncomfortable situation unfold because I want to see how the people in the situation react. It's like, oh, this person is doing this. That's kind of funny.
Now I remember not when was actually when I first met you, but when you were doing the open mic in the doghouse.
Okay.
Okay. And it was like the times when it was like the two of us there for like it was a few months, it was just the two of us. The thing that one of the things I started to admire about you, and this is really strange, there's nothing to do with comedy. It was like I think I mentioned like I don't think it was the Polecats, but it was a song or a group I mentioned, and you're like, yeah, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, and I could maybe I'm like say Jet, was it the Damn Jet Boy Jet Girl?
Okay, yeah,
yeah, I think it was one of those things. I mentioned something like that, and you're like, yeah, and I was like, what is? Whoa. Now, obviously, the bands have been around for a while, but it was just the scope. It was the scope of your music knowledge.
yeah.
Because I know people that like know everything about. I have a friend of mine who's like, he goes, I like both kinds of music, country and western, and he knows those. He knows like all about that. But you take him like from country and western and bluegrass, you take him out of that, no fucking idea, nothing. So, but you had like this huge scope in music, and that's why I joked to Matt. I said that Ron is actually blacker than me when it comes to like music knowledge. I said because R&B, I know my R&B for the most part. Yeah, I'm forgetting a lot of it though. But rap groups, anything rap after NWA, and even then, I don't remember the names of the members of NWA. I don't. Was Method Man one of them?
No, Method Man was not.
What group was he in? Wu-Tang Clan.
No.
No?
Method Man. Wait. Yeah, Method Man is part of the Wu-Tang.
Okay.
Redman isn't, I think.
Okay. And the only reason why I say that Method Man because I was at a comedy club.
I could be wrong about Method Man. I always forget if he was, because there's so many people that are in the Wu-Tang Clan, because I think they have like 12 members and a couple are dead.
They're like the Temptations of rap.
Yeah, it's a whole thing with them.
I was at a comedy club and the comedian on stage, the headliner, his audience was basically, I was there to support a friend of mine who was opening for them. And so I was like probably the only black guy in the audience because this was like a lily white audience.
Yeah.
And so he's talking, he makes a reference to rap. And he looks at me, he goes, who's your favorite member of the Wu-Tang Clan? I said, and I looked at him, I was like the fuck I'm supposed to know? And I mean, I wasn't being a smart ass, like, he's looking at me because I'm black and assuming that I listen to rap. It's like, I don't. And then I said, maybe Method Man? He goes, maybe Method Man. I said, I don't know. I don't listen to rap. What the fuck?
Yeah.
He opened up a can of worms in front of a zilly white audience that he couldn't close, and he was hoping that I could bail him out. Like, nope. I don't know. Sure. Method Man, I think he's in Wu-Tang Clan. I guess. I don't know. That's why you don't do. That's why you don't do crowd work. Work on your fucking material.
Well, years ago, I was down in Baltimore on a Friday night at Mike's, at one of the mics, like at Zizimo's. I was there, and because that used to be a really fun mic back in the day, pre-pandemic. Like that place was normally packed on a Friday night. It was great because you get these drunks that would come in there, and it was just a good time normally. And I was in front of all these people, and this was like very pop culture because that happened like Machine Gun Kelly, that guy, he released a diss track of Eminem, and I made reference to that, and these people are in their 20s and they didn't even get it. I'm like, this is happening right now, and even the host was surprised when he came up there. He's like, I did not expect Ron Kane to talk about the MGK Eminem beef because I thought the whole thing was funny because this guy, he made this whole video dissing Eminem, and he's holding a bowl of cereal the entire time, and I just made the joke. It's like, you can't threaten anybody if you're eating a bowl of cereal and just walking around like this with it spilling everywhere. It's like, you're just a moron.
Heavy Kev in New Zealand says that Kendrick Lamar is his favorite rapper. Now,
I can see that.
I don't know who Kendrick Lamar is. I really don't know what he looks like. But that's the one that was having the feud with that other guy. Was it Blake?
Hey, there you go. You're getting Drake, yeah.
Drake. Okay, Blake, Drake. See, people think I'm joking. No, I really don't know these names.
Well, like Laura. This is funny you mentioned. Like Laura, she didn't really know about that. Like, she knew that beef was happening.
Right.
And so I told her the whole backstory because like the one song came on, and that was the song that started it all. And I asked Laura, it's like, do you know what this song is? And she's like, I think I've heard it. And it's like, and I told her, it's like, this is the song that started the whole beef between Kendrick and Drake. And I kind of laid it out for her. But then, like a month or two later, we were talking about it, and she was like really up to date on it. And it's just funny because if you know Laura, and for her to she doesn't like retain music knowledge and shit like I do,
right.
But for her to be out and like, oh yeah, I know this.
Now it's funny because like there was, I don't want to put the joke out there because it's your joke, and if you want to tell it, that's fine. But there's you're talking about celebrity spokespeople for different diseases, and so you refer to the one that your mother had and the artist, and then the song that the song that would be like this, and I had no idea what that song was, as I had to like back research it once. I mean, I knew from your context what it was.
Yeah.
And I knew from the audience reaction that they knew what it was. They're laughing. I said, okay, they get it. But I know the important thing is you don't have to know what the song is. It's the title of the song that's really important.
Yeah.
And so, but that was like, okay, if I had to like reverse engineer the joke, but but I knew why it was funny.
Yeah.
So I got it. But it was one of those things where and that's not the first time you have like a reference to a song where I really have no fucking idea what the song is or who the artist is, but I can make sense out of it because the way it's structured.
Yeah.
Was it Ice Cube or Ice T? Ice Cube?
Ice Cube.
Okay. I knew it was one of those ice guys. I knew it wasn't Vanilla Ice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Neil Brennan has a great joke about Ice Cube. And he's like, I want to pitch a movie where Ice Cube from 1989 travels to meet Ice Cube from today and beat the shit out of him. It's funny because that's my stepdaughter had this thing. If she was watching an old movie and the person who's in the movie is still alive today, so let's say it's like 15 years ago, she would look at that person and say, they don't know yet, do they, Dad? It's like Bill Cosby. You're watching Ghost Dad with Bill Cosby,
and that Bill Cosby has no idea that we're watching it right now, and he's being locked up for rape. You know what I'm saying? So that was her thing. She'd go, he doesn't know yet, does he, Dad? Or she doesn't know yet, does she, Dad? And that was the thing we used to do. It was like current events, and it's like the Ice Cube, watching Ice Cube go like, do you know who you're going to become? Yeah. Yeah, right now you got an attitude, but do you know what you're going to be in 15, 20 years?
So when you watch a movie like that, and that's a good, like with Cosby, and you like watch it now and things like that, does it kind of like give you the ick, as the kids like to say? And even with songs too.
Well, when it comes to now there is some comedy that he did like way back, his early albums that were so golden that I know what he became, but some of the stuff is so well done that it's like it's funny and it's instructional. And I'm not throwing away a good lesson just because the teacher sucks. It would be like if I had when I was in school, I had a teacher who would drink. They'd be drunk in the parking lot, but they were a really good teacher when they were sober in class.
Yeah,
they didn't come to class drunk. Cosby wasn't raping people on stage. He was being funny. He was raping people after he got off stage.
Yeah. After he had that killer set, that's when he did the rapes.
Yeah, right. So there was so much for me to learn from that kind of stuff. And so I can't throw out the baby with the bathwater in that regard. But like, I'm trying to think now, for example, okay, P. Diddy. I've never listened to his music. I don't know any of his songs, not one. R. Kelly, I think he has a song called I Believe I Can Fly. I think that's one of his. Okay. And I only know that because that song was so big. I think it was from a Disney movie or something. It was so big.
Space Jam.
Oh, Space Jam? I was thinking Aladdin. Okay. But the point is, it was so huge that almost everybody knew that song, even if they didn't know who R. Kelly was. I found out about R. Kelly before I found out about his music. I found out about P. Diddy before I found out about his music. I'm not going to reverse engineer and go back to listen to his music now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back and discover R. Kelly's music now.
For me, like, I mean, that's a good point about the Cosby's comedy albums. Because, I mean, you're right. There's some great comedy when they're done by a terrible person.
Yeah.
But, I mean, some of the material, and it still holds up, some of the material, too, which is a testament to the writer for writing it. But, like, for me, like, with the Diddy stuff, that seems a lot worse than Cosby, not just because like, with Diddy, there's murders and there are rapes and there's all sorts of there's just even nastier shit with Diddy. Doesn't mean one is like better than the other, but to me, like when I hear some of those Diddy things, it's just really bad, because especially with his ties to Biggie's death and things like that, because Biggie had talent and so did Tupac, and for those guys to be killed and for him to possibly have a hand in those killings, and Biggie was supposed to be his friend,
right? Yeah,
that's it is strange. Like I know you really don't hear that Gary Glitter song anymore.
Oh, that's true. They used to hear that anthem, well, a lot of stadiums and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't think they really play it anymore. I think that has gone away.
No, but part of that now I don't know how much of that has to do with his sexual proclivities, his child molestation. I don't know how much of that has to do with that, and much of it is people got away from certain like different genres. It's like it's like some events are becoming countrified, or some events are becoming rapified, and so Gary Glitter's not that anymore. They have like a younger audience, And now they don't want to hear da 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 da. Hey, they don't want to hear that.
Yep.
You know, it's just like eventually Sweet Caroline is going to be wiped out of the white events, except for weddings. You know, except for white weddings. You know, they're going to be playing it there.
And yeah, and in Boston, of course.
Oh yeah, Boston. Yeah.
It's always
it's the state song. It's their state anthem. If not Boston, but it's the city anthem in Boston.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of Gary Glitter being erased. It's like it has to do with him being a pervert, being a pedophile. I don't know. It was a pedophilia, right? That was his thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't you kind of miss just a regular sex scandal that didn't involve kids? What?
Yeah, but and the funny and the weirdest thing is that if Gary Glitter, I don't know if he's alive today, but he would go, "Whoa, okay, yeah, I had my flaws, but I'm not Trump and Epstein." You know, it's like, and he's like, "I didn't make any money off of this.
Yeah.
Epstein made money off of this. I was just doing it out of pleasure.
Yeah.
I was doing this, you know, as a hobby. Epstein was doing it for a living. He had an industry. He had like a cottage industry of pedophilia. You know,
he was doing it for the love of the game.
Right? Yes. It was just sheer sport. It was just like, yes, I just did it out of love. I wasn't making money off of this thing.
Yeah.
So
But like with R. Kelly, he definitely had a thing for teenage girls, underage teenage girls, because there's a whole history there. And really, I don't hear a lot of his music anywhere. Like, you still hear Michael Jackson, of course, but I don't know. You really don't hear a lot of R. Kelly. Occasionally, like if you're out at an event, maybe depending on the type of event, someone might play the remix to Ignition, but that's really it. Because I can't imagine like Michael Jordan even wants to bring up the whole Space Jam thing now because it's connected to fucking R. Kelly.
Well, he didn't. Even before then, he didn't like to talk about it much. Before then, even.
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine him even wanting to bring it up.
Yeah. It's like he may be at the point now where he's like, look, I have enough money. I don't even need residual checks. You don't even have to pay me for it. Show it for free. I don't care. I don't want anything to do with it. I have enough money.
You know, I saw this interview probably about a month ago with Michael Jordan. And they had him on some basketball show, and he's being interviewed by, I think, Mike Tirico, and they're talking. The whole interview was about, you know, how does Michael Jordan feel about today's game, and how the players are rested, and taken, they're watching their minutes, and so Tirico asked Jordan about this, and his response is like, "I think it's ridiculous. You're a basketball player. You play the game." And then Jordan goes, and Mike's asking, like, "Well, you played in all 80 regular season games, all the time when you weren't injured." He was like, "Yeah." It's like, "I don't care what game it is. I want the guy who's sitting all the way up in those nosebleed seats that came to hate on me. I want to prove to that motherfucker that I'm the best in the world."
Right.
And so I can shove it up their asses, essentially. And I like that mentality. I mean, just it's like go after it and get it.
That, and the people who may have had to save up their money for like a year for this one game.
Yeah, look up that interview, because what you just said, I think Jordan says too. It's like, these people have saved their money and things like that. So like, if they're coming to see their favorite team, I want to beat them in front of them.
I mean that's why you put on the best show that you can, or especially when you're there. I was like, there's a comedian. I'm not going to mention Dave Attell by name. I wouldn't do that because he was responsible for a gig I got once, didn't pay me any money, but I got to say I got to open for a headliner, a national guy. But I'm not going to badmouth him. But the shows that he does now, with him and like 5 or 6 or 7 other people, I didn't come to see those other people.
Yeah.
I came to see him, and then he's not his best anymore. So, well, I should say I went to see him. I don't think I'd pay to see him now, unless my wife wanted to go see him. He was my wife's favorite comedian.
Yeah. And, I don't know if that's so much like Tell wanting to bring people, or it's because whoever is running that show to pay him, they just keep adding people onto it. Because I think for him, he's like, well, if I'm getting as long as I'm getting my check after the show, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's the same. Maybe like, okay, he may have said, oh, well, because he used to do like an hour, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, he doesn't really do it. He does maybe 45 now.
Yeah, if that, 30 to 45 minutes, if that. And even then, some of it's like, I think I've seen him. I don't know how many. I had to ask my wife how many times we've seen Dave Attell. But it was like he had this one routine that he like did every time where he picks an audience member, they tell him what they're drinking, and he tells them what about themselves. Like he'll go, he says, so what are you drinking? Gin and tonic. Gin and tonic, gin and tonic. That's the kind of person who, that's it. Because what are you drinking? Bourbon. That's my kind of girl. Bourbon straight up. That's the kind of woman that'll swallow every inch of what you got and then say, may I have another, please? Whatever. See, that's So, and I've seen that routine like I don't know how many times. He still does it.
Yeah. Well, I think the big thing he does now is the whole bumping mics thing.
So, is that what that other?
Yeah, because he'll bring up the comics that are working with him that night.
Right.
They'll do a little back and forth, and because I think when him and Ross were doing that, it was very
Ross. That's it. Yeah, Ross.
Yeah, it was very popular, and
yes,
and it still is, and he's making a living. He's still a fucking road dog.
Like I said, I have. Like I said, there's some people that like I said, I thought he was funny. There's some people that even if I don't think they're funny, I appreciate their business savvy and their ability to create success, on that level, and sure, I'd love to have to, even if I don't like them, I would love to be able to spend like a half an hour with them to pick their brain about the business side. And then at the end of the conversation, they'll say like, so look, I was in Iowa, and I did 2 shows out in Iowa, and this was between shows. I was going to the supermarket to get food to eat in the hotel that night, something I could just microwave. So I was going to the market to get some microwave dinner so I can go back to the hotel. And I'm walking across the parking lot, and this black guy walks up to me and he goes, I know you. I saw you. You're that comedian. And I went, yeah. And I said, yeah, I'm a comedian. He goes, yeah, I saw you, man. He goes, who does your hair? And he talks to me for 20 minutes about my hair. And I said, look, I live in Baltimore. The guy who does my hair lives in Baltimore. I said, so I said, look, if you're ever in Baltimore, and I gave him his card, so you can look him up. I said, but I doubt that you're going to go to Baltimore just to get your hair done. And so, but for 20 minutes, he talked about my hair. And then that was it. And he left. And I want to stop him and say, but was I funny? Because he never said I was funny. He says, you're that comedian. I saw you. Who does your hair? And not like, and that is such a weird sensation. And I feel that because I've done that to other comedians, not about their hair, but
that's something else. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've never disrespected them and said, like, I would never walk up to you and say, so Ron, what's it like to work with Josh DeWay? I would never do that to you.
Yeah.
To me, that's just totally disrespectful. I would try to keep it, if I can't talk about their art and their craft or something like that, I'm not going to walk up to them and say, so what's it like to work? Even if I'm thinking it, I could be fucking thinking it like you wouldn't believe, like I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I when I was out Christmas shopping, um, I ran into a comic from the Zone, and that I hadn't
Okay.
seen in a while. And no, it was a really. He talked to me, say, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a while," and I told him like, "Yeah, I really don't go there." And but like we had like a really good back and forth, and he's like, "Man, you should come out again. Come out again, and it'd be good to So I was like, "Oh, all right, maybe."
Are they still Thursday nights?
Yeah.
I said, the only reason why I don't want to go up there is because I want to see if they took my picture out of that rotation. They must have. They should have by now. But I never got
Yeah,
a picture.
I believe they have.
Okay.
And I think it happened sometime this year.
I was about to say, because a friend of mine was up there. She was there like last year. When I say last year, I mean 2025.
Yeah.
And it was like in March or April. And I said to her, I said, only reason why I would go there because I want to see if they still have my picture up in that rotation. She says it is. I'm like, really? I haven't been there for like 6 years and they still have my picture in that rotation. And I said, can you take a picture for me for it? And every person I've ever asked to take a picture of it for me, they wind up not going back.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think they had you, and then there's like John Montag, and
yeah.
He's been in Jersey. I mean, he's still doing comedy, but he's moved to Jersey like years ago.
Yeah, so it was a good picture. That's why I wanted that. I wanted to take a picture of that picture. It was a good picture of me.
Yeah, but, yeah. I just don't have a lot of respect for that place.
Yeah, same here. Because the owner liked me. The owner liked me, and the owner kept saying, but the owner at that point, and this was like 2 owners ago, I guess, because this is like 6 or 7 years ago. I don't even know how many times it's changed hands since then. But then there's some small person. I think the owner's like some small guy. I can't remember. For some reason, the letter K sticks in my head. But anyway, whoever the owner was, he says, I like you. But he says, but I don't do the booking. You have to go through, out of respect, you got to go through them. And I went, okay. And I never, nope. Yeah. And I'd say to them, I said, the owner likes me. They're like, yeah, but you haven't, all kinds of excuses. Although one of them did say to me that he goes, we think that you were probably upshow. There was a show I was trying to get on, and they told me that they thought that I would upstage the headliner. And I said to them, well, you need a better headliner. That was the end of our conversations. I've never been any part of any of a cause. No, it's like, you need a better headliner. If you're worried about me upstaging your headliner, then you need a better headliner, or put me on a show with a better headliner.
Yeah, well, the new owner doesn't like me, and neither does some of the other people.
Then you're really fucked. No. But
yeah, because like I said, I got asked to feature for a comic that was performing.
I remember that.
Yeah, but here we are.
Yeah, I don't see. That's the one thing I couldn't. One of the things I never, like I said, I was young and naive. Well, I'm still naive about some things, but back 7 years ago, 8 or 9 years ago, it was a while ago. Christopher Titus gave me an endorsement on video, and he says, the next time I'm in town, I want this guy to open for me. And so it was like a year later, he's doing like 3 shows. Like he was doing DC, and then the place up in Baltimore, that's like off of Essex or something. Is that the Comedy Factory?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the Comedy Factory. I think he was doing Magoobies, but no, not at the same time, because he doesn't do both of those in the same stop, I don't think. But anyway, it was like 3 areas, and I sent the video to all 3 places, and like nothing. It's like, I don't understand it. That video got me no gigs. I got Christopher Titus endorsing me, and it got me nothing. And I couldn't understand that. It's like, I don't understand it. It's not like Christopher Titus is slop. He's a really good comic, and he's really good, and he's popular, and it got me no gigs, not one.
Yeah.
That I'm mad about. I don't understand because I don't understand it. I don't understand it. How somebody you can get an endorsement, and it's not like I walked up to somebody and goes like, "Hey, Christopher Titus says I'm funny," and and they take my word for it. It's like, no, he said it on video, and he knows he was on video. He's looking at the camera, and he's pointing me at, got his arm around me. He's like this hug, and he's doing this thing, and it's like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I mean,
no.
like, yeah, I was told it wasn't political that I wasn't allowed to perform because the owner said I had said bad things about the club on the podcast, which is funny because Damien is on that podcast.
Oh
but
yeah, yeah.
and he's still there, so that's why, like, with any of those people, it's like, yeah, who are you really? So that made me laugh because the criticism I've given that club is all well deserved. And if you can't handle criticism, why are you even in this business? You claim to own a restaurant and you can't handle criticism? I mean, but also I do think it's between that and because they don't like me, and then the political stuff because they back Scott Perry.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and like some of the people that are involved in shows there are conservative guys, like they've get like from Florida and things like that. And I am, you know how cruel I am to
in general, but to Scott Perry in particular.
yeah, he does not like me, but who cares? Yeah, because they'll actually have because I've been there, I've gone to the mic before, and they'll have like the Scott Perry people there with a table and things like that, like campaigning for him and things. But haven't really seen a lot, and it's weird too to go to a place that has a picture of Trump up on the stage, because they have him painted on the stage.
Wow, with the other comedians.
Yeah.
Is he got like? Is he like? Or just is it? Is it
it's
a flattering
basically it's him with his mouth open and like shooting fire because it's the seats around the stage they pay extra because those are the hot zone.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I did not know that.
It's really bad to have a picture of Epstein's friend on your wall.
Oh, see, if I ever got a chance to perform there, I'd have to talk about the pedophile endorsement.
Yeah,
that they're endorsing pedophilia. I'd have to, they'd probably drag me off within the first 30 seconds because that would be the first thing I'd have to mention it.
Yeah,
because I don't want somebody taking my picture and Trump's face is behind me. I don't.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing for a comedy club to have that, but I mean, they do have those caricatures on the wall, and they skew very racist too, especially when it comes to the black comics.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let's see if I can find a picture of what's on the wall. There. I'll send it to you.
Because I used to have. Well, I performed there. I did the open mic there quite a few times, and I've taken a lot of pictures of a lot of comedians there. A lot of them.
Yeah, no, now because it's no longer that. The background is terrible there for a club because it's just like all these like cartoon characters of the comics, and like the black comics look very like what's going on here? It's almost one step away from just the old cartoony look of black people.
Now, that is the one thing I will give Magooby's credit for, is that their stage itself, the backdrop is just straight black, I think. Now
it's not. They have like that nice sign behind them that says Magooby's.
Right,
stuff.
That's it. But the artwork is like out of sight. It's up there. It's not behind the comedian. It's not a distraction.
Yeah,
and then it's limited. It's like what Carlin,
and Pryor. That's it.
Pryor. That's it. Yeah,
Carlin and Pryor.
And you can't really. you can't argue with those. You can't argue with that.
No, and you're right. Like a stage should be like minimal because you don't want anything distraction. But there,
Right.
it is nothing but distraction. But
Yeah, especially with the young comics, because young comics, they're like dogs with squirrels.
yeah.
Yeah, the younger guys, they're like dogs with squirrels. Matter of fact, if I was on that stage, though, I think for the first minute, I would be a dog with a squirrel, and that trunk would be the squirrel.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm going to address the pedophile in the room,
Yeah.
whatever side he's on, the left side or the right side. I'm going to address the pedophile in the room.
Well, we made it past 11, GD.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny again. I had my last night. My wife said, "You gonna do the 2 hours by yourself?" I went, "Well, yeah." She says, "What are you gonna do?" I said, I had looked up, like I said, I read a bunch of news articles, and I basically did what I used to do for Politipod. I go through, read a paragraph, write a one-liner. Go through, read a paragraph, write a one-liner. And that's what I did last night. Just went through all these articles. I wrote one-liners for them, and then when I saw you, when you popped up down there, I went, "Fuck! I did all that work for nothing." I did. I had mixed feelings. I was like, "Oh fuck, man!" Because I stayed up late. I stayed up late writing those, doing them. It's like,
well, hopefully I made this morning a little easier for you.
well, yeah, but it's like I said, it's mixed feelings because I did all that work and I only did the work for the show. I wouldn't have done it for anything. You know me. I'm not a one-liner guy. I don't do the one-liners. I can write them, but I don't perform them well. But also know my failure when I do this by myself.
Yeah.
When I do comedy, I need to see a face. So I gauge how I'm doing in real time by the faces that and I see the audience's faces. Even if I don't have the laughter, I look at the faces. Because not everybody laughs. Some people, you can tell if they're still engaged. I'm willing to go on. When I don't see a face, I can't engage, and I don't know how I'm doing.
Yeah.
So, and that's my failure. When I went to do it by myself, I didn't have a face to gauge it except for my own, and that doesn't help me.
Yeah.
And the people in the chat room may not chat right away, so I can't gauge it that way.
Yeah.
They may be listening and they can't comment. They could be listening and dying of laughter, but they can't use their fingers to go laugh emoji. So I can't, and that's my failure. I need to see a face so I can at least gauge. Even if I don't hear the laughter, I need to see the faces so I can gauge it.
Yeah.
No, and I said it doesn't even have to be a laugh. I just need to know that they're still engaged, not that their eyes have glossed over.
Well, I think we've learned absolutely nothing today.
Are you kidding? Yeah. I made a note. I made notes. I know I got stuff here that we learned. The ratings. Mine, the Coffee with the Dog ratings, where we are on the indie comedy podcast.
Yeah, I've seen that posted. It's like that is fascinating.
Yeah, and so I went to the sites to check out some of the podcasts. Again, I don't know why, because I didn't know any of the names of the podcasts.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they're rated there.
Take what you can get.
Yeah. We're number 13, and they said they got from millions of podcasts available on the Good Pods platform. Of course, number 13. I don't know.
It still amazes me that we're making all this money from this pod. It's
yeah.
Matt pays us so well.
Oh my God. I was doing so well that I was going to put my neighbor's kid through college.
I think when Matt comes back, we should stage a coup and take it from him.
No, because he knows the passwords. That's why I don't fuck with him. Like this morning, he started the show, in the background because there's some sites that I can't. Not all of them start when you say go live. All of them don't go live. Some of them you have to manually start. I don't know which ones you do, and some of them ask for your ID or something, not your ID, but your login thing. I don't know that for Matt.
Well, to all the patriots that are listening, we must take back this podcast.
Yes, for all one of two of you that have stuck around. we appreciate you.
Yeah, let Matt know we won't stand for his fascist shit on here.
Well, he knows I won't take his fascist shit. It's but his Nazi stuff I love.
Yeah. Actually, maybe the route you should have taken today is like made this an alt-right podcast.
Well, I knew what he didn't, and I shouldn't say I knew, but when Matt and I was talking about what I was going to do, he says, I'm assuming that Myopic Mick is busy, which to me meant he did not want me to do the Myopic Mick character. So when he says, I'm assuming he's busy, it's like, what do you mean? That's it's almost like he's talking to me like we're an old married couple. When you don't want to say no, but you're saying no without saying no, and you know the other person knows that you're saying no, even though they didn't say no.
Yeah.
So, how much money did when I was telling my wife about Laura? Now, I could remember that she plays pool and makes money. What's the other thing that she's in another group? Was that poker or bowling?
No, poker. She'll play sometimes. Yeah, like at this VFW that's close to our house. They have a Monday night Texas Hold'em tournament.
Okay, now it's funny. I talked myself out of that. I said to my wife, and she does poker, and then I stopped and went, maybe I'm getting her mixed up with Dylan because Dylan does poker. So what else could she do? What else could she do that you can win money? And I said bowling. Maybe it's bowling. And like I said, but my first instinct was that it was poker, but I talked myself out of that answer.
Yeah, it's pool is her big thing, and she likes playing poker as well.
Okay, so it's the P stuff, the P sports. She likes the P. Got it.
Yeah, she's pretty good at poker too. She's very good.
Now, does she have a lucky hat? Because I know that she likes to wear hats, and she likes funny hats. They're not like you wear the same. Pretty much, you don't have silly hats.
Yeah.
Does she have like a lucky hat that she wears to play poker?
No.
Oh, okay, I was just curious.
No, but she's pretty good at doing it because she's pretty good at like reading people's tells and just like her mind does very well with numbers and like logic.
Yeah,
because it just works because that's what when she captains pool. That's part of the strategy in pool is playing the numbers, whatever ranking that person is against a different person. There's a strategy there as well too, which she's really, really good at. So, I just need her to make some money from poker, and that would be great.
The last time I played poker for money, I pissed people off, and I had to. It was like I had to go to work in the morning, and it was getting really, really early. And it was like 2:00 in the morning. And I really was getting tired. I really wanted to go to bed, and they wouldn't let me leave. They said, give us a chance to win our money back. And I was thinking to myself, you had that chance all fucking night. All night you had a chance to win your money back. You couldn't do it. So what I did was I deliberately let them win like $40 back or something. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was enough that they could feel like they were getting something back. And I still left like $100 ahead. And so what made me good at poker was one, I was still new at it. And so I was still like there's some things I just didn't know what a good hand or a bad hand was really. So I didn't react to any hand. I just do I like this? Do I think this can win? Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I don't. To me, I don't have the patience and I couldn't stay focused because of what some people look like at the poker table, like when they're wearing sunglasses,
Yeah.
in the earphone, and all this other. I would just be there the whole time. It's like we're not going to talk about this guy here who's all covered up. Come on.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. I wouldn't wear glasses because I had fake tells that I would for the first hour or so I had these fake tells that I knew I was doing, and when I was setting them up, and I wanted people to learn those tells, and once I was convinced they learned the tells, I would keep doing it, but on different hands. So if I got in the beginning, if I had a good hand, I might do this and tap my nose every time I had a good hand. And then after an hour, I could have a bad hand and I would do the same thing. I would start doing this and I would mix my tells and it'd be like, oh, I'm folding. I'm folding. And I was like, okay, now I got your ass. I know you guys were paying attention. Now I know what to do to get you. So, and that's what I did. I had these fake tells, the fake size, the fake swallows, the subtle things, not big things, just stuff that they would look like, like the swallow, which is a big tell when someone go,
Yeah.
So do you don't play poker? Can you play card games with Laura not necessarily poker, but with other card games that don't involve money?
Yeah, not real. I mean, not really, because I don't really play card games like any type of poker. I mean, I could play blackjack, but
okay.
I just don't have the. I don't have the patience, or it's just something I'm not really interested in. I think for me.
So the cards that you got from that comedy show we did together, you don't use them. No, I'm just
no, we will use them because like we have them in our like travel bags and stuff. So like,
I was just teasing. I was just teasing.
But yeah, those will eventually come in handy because we'll use them eventually.
I just do them because for me it's like a souvenir. It's something that most comedians don't do. And it's like there are not a lot of great moments in what we do. You know what I'm saying? Even if you have like a really good show, you don't remember the whole show.
Yeah.
Our
show at Governors is almost approaching a 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it in the memory. It showed up in my memory. Yeah.
It seems so long ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, and we never got those things edited. I'm gonna see if I can edit it myself. Only because we sent everything for someone else to edit. And like I said, and I got behind because I have like 3 others. Oh my God, I have like 5 shows of mine that I need to edit, and I haven't gotten around to doing it.
Yeah, maybe we should go back to Governors.
I thought about that. I did. I thought about that. I mean, we can.
We should because it's been a year, and why not?
Sure, I'll reach out. I know ticket sales weren't what I wanted, but maybe I can. It'll be better this time. A lot better. I was upset that people bought tickets and didn't show. That really, I don't understand that. I do not understand how people buy tickets, and it wasn't just. It's not just us. I've been at shows with like big name comics, and people buy tickets and don't show up, and I don't understand it. And it's not like they get a refund.
Yeah.
Or that the comic is going to be there next week or something. It's like, no, you may not be back for another year. You just blew your tickets.
And we should definitely do something there when it's a little warmer instead of January.
Oh yeah. I think I was trying to get, I don't know what I was trying to get. Like, guess what they had?
Yeah, like April or like mid-May. Like late April or mid-May would be good.
Well, I'm gonna say, I thought you were working on something with Josh DeWay up there.
We're working on several different things, and
okay.
Yeah, a lot of that's fluid. We're moving dates around because he's That might have to change because he's supposed to be in Denver beginning of May. Then he's going to San Antonio like 2 weeks later to Upstage Comedy Club and possibly Austin. Get him in Austin.
Yeah.
Again. But we'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of moving parts right now.
Yeah.
He's got a job, which is good. So then he should officially have a place in another month or so.
Yeah, I have a gig at Stables next month, a month from on the 19th, and like I said, I don't like to track ticket sales. I hate tracking ticket sales. That's so and in this case, I'd have to ask them about the ticket sales because they handle that stuff.
Don't worry, they'll let you know if no tickets have been sold.
Oh yeah, believe me, yeah. But I don't think that's the case. I honestly don't think that's the case. Because the reason why we did it was because when we did the show in Pennsylvania, we got a lot of feedback from people in Maryland in the area going like, oh, if it were closer, or when you, so I said, okay, I put it together. So I think it should be a good turnout.
Okay.
But I don't want to.
On my you can just follow me on my socials. I got a lot of stuff coming up. I'll be at Laughing Stock in the beginning on the 6th of February. Then 7th, I'm at Ridge Run Tavern, which is a little bar in Elizabethtown. It should be an interesting show. Then I have the Harford County Comedy Festival. I'm doing one of their shows on Tuesday, February 10th, I think. Then I'll be at Laughing Stock again at the end of the month. That's my show with Ben Frank is the headliner. And I think I have another one in there. Oh, yeah. Then I'll be, I think around the 20th or the 21st of next month, I'll be in Northumberland at the Front Street Station. So just follow me online because I keep adding things and filling out the calendar. Then I hope to be in Los Angeles later this year performing.
Yeah,
and if everything goes well, I'll be at the Comedy Store.
Cool. There's oh, never mind. I don't have a lot of shows coming up. I have to February 19th, and then I think the 21st. It looks like I'm going to be in LA on the 21st. They sent me the paperwork, the contract for me to look over. It's like 13 pages. And I just want to say, I just want to see the part that actually involves me, not the club. I don't care about the club. I just want to know about me. They should just send me a paragraph about me. So I'm gonna look over it and I'll give them a call a little bit later today. I said I'd call them today. So
okay.
So I may be in LA, headlining in LA on the 21st. We'll see.
Okay.
So.
Well, I think we've reached the end, GD.
Yep. And so I'm gonna play some music. And Ron, thanks for hanging out, man.
Yep, I'll be on tomorrow.
Okay. I have no idea what the guests are tomorrow. I should have looked it up.
It doesn't matter.
I think the next guest is on Friday. The next I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, the audience will figure it out.
yeah. When they show up, they'll see when they show up. Yeah. All right. So everybody, now I know everybody's used to us playing Matt's music, but Matt's not here, so I'm going to play one of mine. And thanks for hanging around, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot.
But I haven't got a clue what it is I have to be to get next to you. Well, I guess another man would know those lines and lies and law, but I've never learned those posh cliches. You've heard them all before. Do I go broke wearing fancy clothes? And do I play games? Do I just put on a show? And do I pretend that I'm something else? And do I risk it all and make a fool of myself? Am I fooling myself? Oh, I haven't got a clue. How do I make a bond between me and you now, woman? I'm tired of being blue. But tell me what to do, 'cause I haven't got a clue. I guess you think I'm stupid, 'cause I haven't got a clue. I feel like I'm drowning, man, could I get some help from you? Well, I guess another man would know how to cross this great divide. And if I were another man, would I catch your eye? And do I go broke wearing fancy clothes? And do I play games? Do I just put on a show? And do I pretend that I'm something else? And do I risk it all and make a fool of myself? Am I fooling myself? Oh, I haven't got a clue. How do I make a bond between me and you now, woman? I'm tired of being blue. But tell me what to do, 'cause I haven't got a clue.